This is lesson 6 of unit 7.4. I'm going to have a look at artificial intelligence and machine learning. We'll then look at how this is used in Scratch. So here's one of our first key questions. Does anybody know what artificial intelligence is? Pause the video and try and write down a definition for me. And let's see if you were correct. Here are our key words. You'll see we've added machine learning, artificial intelligence, Turing Test, and ethics. So there's a video for you to watch here. You'll need to open the PowerPoint presentation. Your PowerPoint presentation will be in the section which says Lesson Resources and PowerPoints. Click Lesson 6 and watch the video on this slide. When you've watched the video, you're going to have to answer the question, what is artificial intelligence? And then there is an extension, what is the difference between machine learning and AI? Please go and watch the video now. So you should have watched the video and hopefully given me a definition. Make sure your definition included these key words: learn, patterns, data, and predictions. So artificial intelligence is a computer's ability to learn patterns and predictions from data so that it can make predictions on the outcomes of the data. And we're going to look at the difference between machine learning and AI in the next lesson. So what are some of the ways that you think AI is being used in your everyday life? Please pause the video and write down what ways you think it's being used on paper. So we see it in lots of different places, for example, Instagram and Facebook. It gives you recommendations of people who you might want to follow. Well, that's artificial intelligence looking at your current friends and trying to figure out who you might like to follow. If you go online and search for new trainers, have you found it strange that all your adverts then turn into trainer adverts? And that's artificial intelligence that's doing that, saying that you are looking for some trainers and it will start showing you appropriate ads. Now, there's some AI in action. Google have developed a machine learning tool where you can draw and it tries to guess what your drawing is. Now, if you go to your workbook, you'll see a link to this. Once you've loaded the page up, you'll see there's a video for you to watch. Please watch this video and it will give you an introduction to the tool. Then click Launch Experiment. Launch Experiment will let you have a go. So this is how it works. It's asked me to draw a horse. Now my drawing is absolutely terrible on a computer. If I go like that, dearie me, this is terrible. Oh, let's quick give it. Oh dear, right, so it didn't do it. Okay, let's try zigzag. Okay, so I'm going to try a zigzag. And it's got it. Well, actually there, it doesn't matter that I was a terrible drawer. Let's draw a flying saucer. So there we go, eyeglasses, so let's go for some glasses. Remember this is... Now, once it's done it, you'll actually find that the way it works is by comparing different images. So here's one that I did a while ago. It says clarinet. And as you can see, if you look at the bottom of the screen, there are lots of different examples of what it might look like. So it compares all the other images and says there are thousands of people who have played this game. Here are the different drawings of the images similar to the ones that they've made. So can you think of a multiplayer game which artificial intelligence managed to actually beat a human at? It was Space Invaders. Artificial intelligence managed to get a higher grade in Space Invaders than a human's ever got before. So there are lots of different artificial intelligence. In your student workbooks, first of all, If you haven't done it already, there is a nice extension which you can try, and this is a word game. Now, if you load this one up and click Play Arcade, then what happens is it gives you a series of words, and this uses artificial intelligence. It gives you a word, and you have to try and write the first word that comes to mind. So I'm going to put cut as in haircut. It then orders them to tell you which words had a similar meaning and gets rid of all those other words to give you a score. You've got to try and get your word in the top 4. So it's given me lots of points, and it's a bit of a game to see how high you can get. It puts some more words on and tries again. That's done through artificial intelligence, linking words together.
I wanted us to quickly think about Google and how it uses Google Translate with artificial intelligence. Here's a quick video of Google Translate. Now, as this person types and actually draws on their screen, a little bit like we've done before, it recognises the symbols and translates them directly to English. Now, I want us to think a little bit more again about other ways that we can see AI in real life. Now, you've seen it all the time. When you do a Google search, it predicts what you want to search for. So here you can see an example of me searching for Manchester. Now, the first thing it thinks of is Manchester, the city, the town. The second thing it thinks of is then Manchester United, followed by Manchester Evening News and Manchester Airport, etc. This is done because other people have searched for these previously, and it can predict what it thinks you're actually going to search for. We also can think of AI in everyday life in our Google Home Hubs or Amazon Alexa. When you ask it a question, it's been trained to represent and to recognize different people's voices. This means that it can predict what you've said and try and give you an appropriate answer. Your next task in your workbooks is to go and find this page. How many more places can you think of that AI is found in our everyday lives? You've got 1 minute, pause the video and try and complete these now. So hopefully you've got a few of these ideas. First of all, Netflix or Spotify. Whenever you watch something on Netflix or Spotify, it gives you recommendations. These are linked to things that you have watched before. On Spotify, what you've listened to before, the type of music that it thinks you might be interested in. A few more ideas when you use your face unlock on a phone. It recognises you and uses artificial intelligence to learn the position of your face. Google Maps. You might have used Google Maps for directions. It knows all the different routes. It can find out if there is a blockage or a delay or a crash, and it can redirect you. Also, Amazon reviews. Whenever you buy something on Amazon, it can give you a recommendation for you. This could be something else that you might be interested in buying.
But the next task is the 3 different websites. They all use artificial intelligence. If you click on the link, it will take you to the website. Try it and see what happens. It's an orchestra one.
Please now go back to your list that you made of AI in real life. Now you've seen some other examples and tried some. Can you update your list? Did you get any right? Did you get any wrong? And add some extras, anything extra that you can think of. So as we said already, AI works by actually training the computer with different options so that it can learn. This is actually called machine learning. You've got a page in your workbooks. You can see I have watched 2 movies recently, Shrek and Madagascar. The first thing I want you to do is round the outsides is to try and tag these movies. So for machine learning to work, it has to have some tags linked to the movies or the sounds. I've given you an example, kids. What else might you include? You could include animation. You could include sound. It could be colourful. It could be kids. We've got kids already. For Shrek, you could do a love story. You could do an ogre. For Madagascar, you could put animals. You could put Africa. You could think about the different themes and genres of these movies. Task number 2. Once you've done your tags, I want you to go back and find any which have tags in common. So you can see here I've got kids on both of them. So I might change those to a different colour, and then you'll be able to see what these two movies have in common. Then see if you can make 3 of your own recommendations linked to these 2 movies. They should have the same tags that you've already recognised that link these 2 movies together.
And then there's an audio and motion one. For this one, you've actually got to train it yourself. So this is the slide that you'll end up with. Try the training method, and this is called machine learning. Machine learning is where you have to train a computer. So you need to link your webcam to it, take some pictures, for example, waving with your right hand and waving with your left hand, and then it'll be able to tell you which class it is in. So for each of them, explain artificial intelligence, how it is used in that particular website, and then explain on the second one, why is it different, why did you need to train it. Pause the video and complete those tasks. Okay, I want you to go back to your definition of artificial intelligence and add to your definition. I want you to explain about machine learning. Now, machine learning is where we train a computer to recognise responses. So it's where the computer is learning. For example, in the drawing game, every time it gets it right or wrong, it recognises those images as similar images. So, do you think you could fool a computer into thinking they were human? Well, artificial intelligence is a computer which is intelligent. Now, Alan Turing, one of our most famous computer scientists, he was a professor at Manchester University, but you've probably heard of him from cracking the German Enigma code in World War II. He's also on the back of the £50 note. He came up with the Turing Test. Here's his quote: "I propose to consider the question, can machines think?" There's a video here for you to watch. You need to go to the PowerPoint slides to watch this video. It introduces you to the Turing test and how it works. Now, the Turing test is a test of whether a computer is intelligent or not. So, here's a few questions for you. AI is at a stage where it could replace doctors. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's false? Watch the video on the PowerPoint slides and then make your decision. Okay, so most of you have probably said true. Yeah, they could replace some things that doctors do, probably not everything, but artificial intelligence is clever. So would you trust a computer to do an operation on you? What do you think? Yes or no? And more interesting, the word here is trust. Yeah, they might be able to do it, but would you actually trust them to do it? Now, there's another video for you to watch of a Tesla self-driving car to introduce you to what a Tesla is. Please pause the video and go and watch this video. Now, a Tesla uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to adapt to its environment, which means it becomes self-driving. So that means a Tesla has to have a series of decisions as it's driving along. Now, if a Tesla was coming along, what do you think it should do in this circumstance? There are 4 people in the car, but there are 4 pets, 2 dogs and 2 cats walking across the road. Now, the car is going so fast that it's not going to be able to stop, and it can't escape to the left or right because there are barriers. It can either drive into the blue barrier. Unfortunately, that will mean all the people in the car will not make it. or it can drive across the pets, meaning the pets will not make it, but the people in the car will. What do you think the car should do? So now you might have hopefully answered that. Should cars be able to make these kind of decisions, these intelligent decisions? Think about what Alan Turing was talking about in the Turing Test. Should humans or cars or computers be able to make ethical decisions? This is called the moral machine. There's a video here. Can you please watch this video, pause this video and watch the one linked in the PowerPoint. Now, there's a series of scenarios here about the moral machines. You have two scenarios. You're going to have to decide which scenario do you think the car should make. So this car is driving towards the barrier. The passengers, the pedestrian crossing is on green, so the people are allowed to walk. There are 3 people walking across and 3 people in the car. What decision should it make? Now, to get onto that, you're going to go onto your student workbook. Click through to this link and it will bring up the moral machine. There's the video that you need to watch, and click Start Judging. And you can move your way through these questions. Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is about the decision a car should make. And it will tell you how moral it thinks you are. Once you've done that, I want you to tell me whether you think we should trust computers. Either delete yes if you think we should or we shouldn't, or delete no if you think we should trust computers, and then give your reasoning below. In class, we're then going to have a debate. So make sure you are either on team yes or team no, and then consider your key points as why we should make we think computers actually can be trusted to make these kind of decisions. We'll run the debate with Team A making a point, Team B will counter argue, Team A can respond to that point, then we'll swap and Team B will make their point. And we'll see which team we think wins.